95% of golfers keep making the stupid mistake with driver. It's costing them distance, it's costing them accuracy, it's also costing them money. Hi everyone, my name's James and welcome to Get Good at Golf. On this channel we aim to help you get good at golf just one day at a time. Today we're talking a little bit of technology as well. So you can see here I've got 3 Callaway drivers in 9 degree, 10.5 degree and 12 degree. Now the big thing that so many people do is buy a driver off the rack. You'll see here in the fitting room here at Waterfront Golf Club, and we have so many shafts that Chris is going to talk you through a little bit later in this video, but we also have different lofted drives as well. Now, when we spend money on a new driver, generally it's between 400 to 500, even 600 pounds. And if you buy the wrong loft, yes, these are adjustable, but you want to make sure you are getting the right loft. So many people generally just think, you know what, I'm going to go straight off the bat for a 9 degree driver, because that's what my pro shop has in stock. I'm going to go with a stiff shaft, 9 degree stiff. I'll probably be able to sell it on for a little bit more next time, rather than going 10.5 or 12 degrees. Now, the issue with that is that we want to get you to hit a certain flight window when hitting your driver. Now, if you're having lessons at the moment, you will know that getting a driver launching nice and high with a low spin is the key to hitting longer shots. I'm going to show you today just what different shots you can hit, even with just a 1.5 degree difference in your driver loft. So I've actually got the same shaft that I got fitted for here, because Frank seems to have every fitting option under the sun. And I'm just going to put it in a neutral setting. Where is that? Square and neutral. And you'll see here that this is pretty much a spec that I would go with. We're using the Callaway Rogue ST Max, so it's not the LS version. It's certainly not the triple diamond version, because I really struggle with that. But let's see just what flight window I can get with this 9 degree stiff driver. Then we'll see what 10.5 brings, what 12 brings. Then we need to discuss exactly what flight window you want to see as well, because I've been to fittings in the past where the fitter didn't even ask me how high I want to hit it, and for me that doesn't make sense, because if I play at a different golf course than you, I might want a lower flight. These are all things you need to think about when you are purchasing your new driver. So we'll kick things off here with a 9 degree, and for me a 9 degree driver is pretty much what I would anticipate to be fitted into if I did go and get fitted, and the flight window I'm wanting is around about kind of 30 yards in the air. So I've got a nice forward ball position. I know I'm going to have my sternum back. I'm going to make a nice quick golf swing to hit that flight window. That's exactly what I would like to see. That's exactly what I would hope to see. Hopefully you saw there on the shot trace it was a nice big high draw. Now looking at that ball flight, I generally don't need much more loft than that. If I was to change my technique, if I was to have a ball position further back, if I maybe didn't have the club head speed for that, I wouldn't think twice about jumping up into a higher lofted club, a little bit like this. So 10.5 degrees here, so that's obviously 1.5 degrees more than the 9 degree that I hit. Simple maths would dictate that. I actually passed maths as well, as you can see, so I'm well equipped to go through that with you. Now, you may be asking, James, yes, I know that 10.5 degree is going to go higher than 9 degree. Why are we talking through this? And it depends entirely on what your technique does and what it allows for in the golf swing. You see, if I had a ball position that was a little bit further back, if I had a release that was maybe a tiny bit different, if my release was a little bit early, then that would add dynamic loft. If I had a late release, that would take away dynamic loft, and I need to be able to know what I'm doing with that. I need to be able to know what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to hit exactly the same shot for you here, and I think this flight window will be a little bit too high. You can see that exactly the same shot, exactly the same ball flight, just drawing towards the end, but it was just that little notch above. Now, if we're talking spin rates, that would have a little bit more spin on it looking at it visually. If you jump on a launch monitor, on a track on a GC quad, a Golf Zone simulator, you will see that you are wanting to match up your spin rate with your launch angle to get you the most amount of distance possible. This is something which, yes, we can explain to you in a video what it does, but you need to go and see your local fitter, your local PGA Pro, to make sure you are spending your money correctly on what driver you want. Now we're going to jump in the 12 degree. I'm going to show you a totally different flight window with exactly the same swing. The key here why I'm doing this, guys, is showing you that if you have a consistent swing, this will definitely help you. If your swing's a little bit different each time, you produce a different dynamic loft each time, maybe work on that before you go for a driver fitting, because you're not going to get the same amount out of it as if you return the same club face every time. See how centered that was? Oof, unbelievable. So why would I possibly want or need a 12-degree driver, because James has hit his 9-degree well, the 10.5 went well, there were 2 good ball flights, but why would I ever need 12-degree? No Tour Pro has ever used a 12-degree driver. I'm going to give that one more because usually you want just a few clicks on it. And yes, they have actually. So Vijay Singh used 11.5-degree driver back in the day when he was winning loads of majors. Why is that? Why would someone like that want to have a higher lofted driver? So generally, a high lofted driver may be a little bit more accurate for you because it's got more loft on it. That spin axis is going to be a little bit more neutral. But also, if your angle of attack is a little bit down on the driver, so if you're not sweeping the club, if you're not having your low point before the ball, if you're not watching Get Good at Golf where we help you hit longer drives, you are going to need a different element other than launch angle to get the ball launched in the air. That's where spin rate will help you. The ball will spin up in the air. Yes, it might not go as far, but it is going to launch up in the air. It's going to go a little bit further than if you think, you go to your local pro shop and you go, you know what, I'm not hitting the ball far enough, I need maybe a 9-degree driver. That's going to help me hit it further. That's going to help me hit it past all my friends, when realistically you should be going the other way. You should be going 10.5, 12 degrees, because that's going to at least get the ball airborne. It's going to get it launching and help you hit shots where, again, I'm going to try and hit you the same shot like this. And you can see they are 3 identical ball flights, just in different flight windows. That means you're going to hit different heights. If I was to then hit one with the ball position back and I was hitting ever so slightly down on this ball, that's where, again, you'll see I'm going to try and hit a straight shot, but it's going to come out a lot lower, and then the spin is actually taking that ball up into the air. So that's why, guys, you need to make sure you get the right loft. We haven't even spoken shaft yet. This is where Chris is going to tell us how we can hit longer, straighter drives by making sure you use the correct shaft.
So guys, we're now going to talk obviously what kind of shaft you want to look at. Yes, we need the correct loft. We need to get in the window that you're looking for. And that's a big thing, guys. If you've been for a fitting or when you go for a fitting, please do ask or tell the fitter that you are looking for a certain window. For example,
the fitter should be asking you questions all the way through your fitting, shouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly. You should be getting asked a lot of questions. What kind of flight do you like to see? What ball flight do you like to see? What kind of shape do you like to see? Because this is all included in your fitting. This is what they are fitting you to. You might not be changing your swing as such, but you might be trying to get some clubs launch a little bit lower without changing your technique. That might be loft. A lot of the times that can come down to shaft as well. So in this shaft, I've got a 5.0 Project X light 50 gram shaft. So again, somebody instantly might say, well, Chris, you swing it a little bit faster than James. Would you need 50 grams?
They'd be wrong, but
they'd be totally correct. But they might think, well, that's a little bit light. For someone who has over 110 miles an hour, would you really need something 50 gram? Because would you then lose control of that shaft? And that's where it all comes down to different kick points in a driver. So you might be somebody who has a really fast swing, but you get something really light. Just because you've got a fast swing doesn't mean you go to something heavy. Very much the same with irons. So a lot of the times I see people with irons, they go for the 120, 130 gram shaft because, well, you know, I've got a stiff shaft, it needs to be heavy. That's not going to help you. If that's going to lose your speed, that's going to be all dependent on, again, what kind of forces you put on that golf club. You might be somebody who pulls really hard from the top. You might need a different shaft in comparison to the next person, to your playing partner. You need something that is fit for your swing, and that can come down to any kind of weight and also flex. So here I've got a regular flex shaft, the 50 gram like I've just said. Would this be for me? That's again all dependent on how I perform in a fitting. Would it be the one for me? Would it be most consistent? Again there, nice little draw, very easy for me to hit a regular shaft. I don't feel like I have to put any kind of effort into getting that ball to launch where I want to and get into the window. So it's making sure that you get a shaft that is going to be getting you again into that window. If it's a regular shaft, if it's a stiff shaft, if it's an extra stiff shaft, you could have different clubhead speeds. You might have slower clubhead speed to the next person, but you might need an extra stiff shaft just because the way you deliver the club. So if somebody tells you you don't need an X, you might need an X. If somebody says you need a regular, you might need a regular. So it doesn't matter on your speed, it all depends on how you can return that club, what kind of forces you put on that, and that's going to dictate what driver setup you go for, what iron setup you go for, and that's going to help you get good at golf in comparison to having clubs that aren't fitted, aren't correct shafts for you, because it's only going to make the game harder.